All right, well, first of all, I must ask about the hair. You shaved it. What was the reason behind shaving the head?
New look. Usually every summer or when it starts to get a little warm here in Vegas, I buzz the head just because it makes life a little bit easier. I don't really have to worry about doing my hair or anything like that. But yeah, get a new look for the fight, and you know, a lot of MMA fighters have buzz cuts, so why not?
How are you feeling coming into fight week?
I feel great, confident, weight's on point. I'm just waiting to eat and then fight.
And you were at the fights last week. What did you think of it? Were you there to kind of scope out how it went, or?
Yeah. I was there. It was a great card. A lot of good wins. And it was also nice to be able to be at the venue and look around and see where I'm going to be fighting and just get a feeling of it. You know, when I was there and I was picturing myself in the cage, I felt very comfortable. I felt very like this is my home. It is my home. I'm in Vegas, so. Yeah, it was good. You know, the fight I had in New York really prepared me a lot for this kind of stage, and I almost feel like I'm a little bit used to it now.
And speaking of it being your home, does that kind of help amp you up when you know you're in your hometown? You can't, you're not going to lose in front of your friends and family. Is that?
100%. You know, I grew up here in Vegas. I did a lot of football stuff here in Vegas when I was in high school for Bishop Gorman. You know, we represented Nevada basically because we were #1 in the country. But yeah, this is my home. I have a lot of friends and family here, and it's just time to put on a show. I'm ready to show the improvement that I've been making since my last fight, and it's going to be a world of difference in a positive way, and it's going to be good.
And I know you're not pro yet, but let's say they needed a last-minute fill-in for a pro fight. Would you consider that? Would that be something you feel like you'd be ready for to jump into the tournament right away?
I would have to sit down and talk to my coach about that. If that situation were to come up, I'm not gonna just jump into a pro fight and not know or be ready. So you know, I would have to sit down and talk to my coach about that. Right now, I'm still an amateur. I'm looking to be 3-1 on Friday, and yeah, 3 or 4 fights this year, and then we'll see where we're at.
How do you think you stack up against the people that are in the tournament now? I know, like I said, you're not pro yet, but if that were to happen and like just pretend it and they said yes, how do you feel like you would do against some of the guys in the tournament?
I don't think I would do that bad. I think I'd do pretty good actually. You know, a lot of the guys that I train with are pro level guys. You know, they're ranked in Bellator or UFC or ONE or LFA. You know, I train with a lot of professional guys, a lot of really good guys, like Jeremy Kennedy. You know, he's fighting for the belt soon. Maz Burnell, he's in Bellator. He's ranked in Bellator. Kai Kamaka. You know, these are guys that I train with that are very talented, and I think that I would hold up pretty well, I'd say.
And my last question is kind of a fun one. How do you feel like your grandfather would have done in MMA, say against someone like John Jones?
I don't know. You know, I think just his mentality alone would take him very far. You know, if he obviously wrestled and did jiu-jitsu and did all these other things that are pretty much required for MMA, I think he'd do great. You know, John Jones actually looked up to him as far as mentality and stuff like that. So, you know, John Jones, if Muhammad Ali was an MMA fighter and he was fighting against John Jones, you know, it would be a great fight because they both have that mental, that mentality. So, yeah, I think he'd hold up pretty well.
Thank you.
This is your first time fighting in Las Vegas, correct?
Yep.
How's that feel, man? So you fought at Madison Square Garden your last time out in Las Vegas, the fight capital of the world. How's it feel?
It feels great. You know, just to fight at Madison Square Garden, you know, at Hulu Theater, it was such a great experience. You know, I was nervous going into that fight. It was my PFL debut. You know, I had a lot of hype around me, still do. But yeah, that fight prepared me a lot because now I know what it's like to be in the smart cage, in that arena, around those big lights, opening the card for the world championship fights. You know, I won. So, you know, that experience really helped a lot and preparing me for stuff like this and moving forward. You know, this fight's going to prepare me for the next and the next. It's all going to add up. So yeah, it's exciting.
I feel like, some people know you as Biaggio, some people know you as Muhammad Ali's grandson. Is it annoying that people just know you as that, or are you kind of building your name to only be Biaggio?
I do want to make a name for myself, just like any other fighter. Every fighter wants to make their own name, their own legacy. Obviously, a lot of people refer to me as Muhammad Ali's grandson, and I'm kind of like, well, my name's Biaggio, So it could be annoying sometimes, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. I just want to win fights.
What do you think about your opponent?
I think he's going to come prepared. He's from Flagstaff, Arizona. Don't know much about him. I know he used to wrestle in high school, did a couple jiu-jitsu tournaments, but I don't think that he's on my level, and I don't think he's ready for my speed and explosiveness.
How do you get your hand raised?
Knockout.
Love it. And then who's going to be in your corner this Friday?
I got my head coach, Dennis Davis, in my corner, and my striking coach, James Gifford.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah, Joe, does the spotlight as an amateur bother you sometimes, or is it something that you knew was going to be part of the job and you just ended up embracing?
I knew it was going to be part of the job, just because of who I'm related to. I knew that there was going to be a lot of hype around my name, especially going into a combat sport like MMA. I knew going into MMA, like, oh, they're going to find out who I am, and then it's going to go out there like crazy, because this happened to me when I was playing football. When I was in high school, Max Preps found out who I was related to. I still don't know how they found out. But they found out, and it just went global. It went all over the world. And I was playing football, and I was 16, 17 years old. So as far as the media, the cameras, all the interviews, everything like that, I'm so used to it, and it's just a way of life now.
Yeah, and like you said, you played football, you go back on Bishop Gorman, you played Cal Berkeley, and what is something that you can take away from your football background that you think helped you make the transition into MMA?
Yeah, I think, playing football, especially at the college level, you are pretty much like forced to be consistent. So if you don't go to practice, your strength coach is going to get on your butt, or your head coach, someone's going to get on your butt about not training. In MMA, in an individual sport like boxing, MMA, you're in the driver's seat. Nobody's blowing a whistle in your ear telling you to wake up and go to the gym. It's all on you. If you want to be better, if you want to be great, it's your choice to go or not. So I think football helped me to just stay consistent in that, because in football you're kind of forced to stay consistent. So and I also enjoy it. I enjoy going to the gym more than I enjoyed waking up and going to football practice, because I actually love this sport. I found a sport that I really love and enjoy and have a passion for. So I would say consistency, maybe footwork drills, footwork stuff I used to do as a running back might have translated over to MMA, because you need to have footwork with striking and wrestling and certain stuff. So I think there's a few things that transferred over for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, the last one for me. Other than your grandfather, is there someone in the MMA world that you might have looked up to growing up?
Yeah, John Jones. The only reason I looked up to him was his mentality. Like, he had the mental, and in this game, a lot of it is mental. So he has that mentality to get in there and be the dominant person, and I think he's very spiritual as well, because I've seen certain things that he said about God and the law of attraction and stuff, and that's my basis. That's what I do. I pray every day. I thank God every day. I use the law of attraction in order to manifest stuff into my life. So I would say John Jones.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Compare 2-a-days to 5 rounds of sparring and MMA workouts.
2 days in football, there's no comparison. You go 5 rounds with the guys that I go with, you're going to be really tired. 2-a-days, I already do 2-a-days every day. I go in the gym once in the morning to get some hard training in, and then I go back in the afternoon to get some more training in. So 2-a-days is nothing compared to what I do now every day.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Awesome.